Hello people, in this lecture we're gonna make some adjustments in our project. The first adjustment that I want to do is if I already have a dish and I don't want to replace the dish image. Let's do it. If I already have existing dish, if I already have a dish, get or dish, if I'm not sending a new image, I want to maintain my image URL. So when I map from my VM to my dish, I will maintain my existing dish image URL. And let's go to our edit, go to view. Here I've forgotten our validation for our image and the class form control for my input of type file. Let's go to our VM. To be able to send a dish with no file, with no image, we must add this nullable operator here. And that's it for your dish. Let's now improve the styles of my code. Go here to layouts. In the last lecture, you've already seen that the layout was kind of crashing when we have so much content. Let's add a new class. Let's say nav primary for this navigation. And for my content, here, let's say main container. So let's add some styles. Go to here in CSS. Let's say nav primary. The position is gonna be fixed. The index, let's say 10. And to our content not be under the nav primary, we're gonna say our main container. Let's say margin left of 200 pixels. Here we've used this inline style. Let's remove it. And let's say nav primary width of 200 pixels. Alright, let's do this in the normal area as well. But in the normal area, I don't want to just change that. I want to add some new things here. Let's remove this style. Let's say nav primary as well. And here, main container. Let's use the same main container as we used here in the admin, so we can display our logout to our user if he's authenticated. And I wanted to change. You've seen that when the content was too big for my content, there was an overlay of my filter in my main. So let's add to my main tag. Let's add a margin bottom of 200 pixels. There is one more adjustment. I want to add a new link here. Instead of home, let's say dishes. And here, let's say dishes. As area, let's say nothing because it has to be our normal area. And I think that's it for our adjustments. Let's see, dishes. Now we have this logout button because I'm logged in as admin, but later on we'll be able to log in as client, as a normal user. Let's go to our admins. Let's go to our dishes. Let's list the dishes. Here now, edit. Now if you just save it. And here we have a new we have another thing that I wanted to adjust. Here, if I save my entity, if you are seeing that from another country, I am from Brazil. So this is the format of my project. My project by default takes my region, and this is the price format that we use here in Brazil. If you are from Brazil, you have already seen that error in your screen. If you just take out this, it will work, or use points. Let's do that. Let's make our project, our future of our project from EWA, from United States. Let's go here in the program. Let's create a new variable for future info. Let's say new culture info. If you want to use the culture info from Brazil, you just use the one that you already using, but I will change that for United States. Let's say the culture info default current culture, right, will be our culture info, and the culture info default thread culture UI culture, let's say it will be our culture info. Go to admin, dishes, list. If you edit, now the price is in the correct format with the point instead of the comma. Let's save it. Now you see that this style has improved. Of course, the operation has failed. That is because we have this error saying the entity dish cannot be tracked because another entity instance with the same ID is already being tracked. To solve this problem, it's not a problem from entity framework, it's like a feature, but in this situation, it's kind of problem. To briefly explain what happened, that we cannot create a new instance of an entity that we've already gotten on database. To avoid this problem, we will not create a new dish to update or create. Let's, instead of creating this dish, let's say mapper dot map, and instead of creating a new dish, let's map the existing dish to it, and let's save it. But you see that this dish is nullable, because if my dish doesn't exist, have to create it manually. Let's say if dish existing dish is null, I'll say existing dish will be new dish. Let's change it from existing dish to dish, replace it, and now everything should be correct. If I list the dishes and edit this one, let's say shit x hamburger 2, let's save it. My dish exists, so it's not null. I mapped my dish now. My dish has the name of x hamburger 2, and now I've updated. This means that I haven't created a new instance of my dish because I've already gotten that on database. Let's create a new dish and see if everything is working. Let's just say something here, and let's save and see if everything is working. I'll get my dish is null, so I created a new dish. I mapped my dish, and my ID now is 0, so I will create my dish. And now I have my dish here. I will delete this dish, and now I think I've already covered all the minimum bugs that our application had. And that's it for this lecture. See you again.